Hello, my name is Cameron Jenkins, a graduating senior of Carver High School, and I am presenting a presentation for AP Stats final exam, final project. Okay, I have done my project based on why do pastors leave the ministry. And my introduction, I've stated out that ministry is an awesome responsibility to have. It brings about a change in one's life concerning their internal soul. But while this is true, ministry can also be a big burden that can cause problems, and sometimes that is life-strangling. Statistics shows us that over 1,700 ministers leave the ministry monthly, which in fact is very sad. In order to see what the cause of this major decline of ministers is, we must identify exactly what makes pastors forfeit the role of leadership. After serving multiple local and international pastors, they have basically suggested unto me that the reason why pastors leave the ministry is because of multiple vehicles of stress, health problems, problematic members, financial frustrations, family marriages, family and marriage suffrage, and the lack of support within the church and community. This is just some of the statistics cited from Don't Make Your Pastor a Statistic. The hours and pay is 90% of pastors report working between 55 to 75 hours per week. 50% of them are unable to meet the demands of the job. As we go on to the next one, 90% of pastors said that ministry was completely different from what they thought would be before they got into ministry. Health and well-being. 70% of pastors constantly fight depression. 80% believe pastoral ministry has negatively affected their families. 80% of their spouses feel left out and unappreciated by church members. With their family and marriage, 80% of pastors believe ministry spouses feel like their spouse is overworked. And between church relationships, 70% do not have someone they call a close friend. So that are just some of the statistics that stand about pastors who are in the ministry or who have left the ministry, and how themselves, about their health and their family feel about them in ministry. As we proceed to go to data production, in order for me to be successful and precise in my reasoning or my process of finding why pastors leave the ministry, I had to call local and international ministers for input. Believe it or not, there are a lot of ministers who have left the ministry for these exact same reasons. Configure a Excel spreadsheet, which I pulled together all my data from those pastors and posted on that so I can get a general collection. I collected data, I categorized the data, and then we performed an inference test, which was a 2-sample t-test comparing health and stress levels. Okay, here's the spreadsheet. This is part one of the experiment. We see that all of the pastors that I call were male. They varied from ages 20 all the way up to 58. All of them are married. And as you can see, the strain on marriage, this is one of the questions I asked them. From the scale of 1 to 5, what is the strain on marriage? From the scale of 1 to 5, what is the financial status, the family relationship, stress level, support in church, support in community, and health strain? The biggest two of these that stood out to us to me, is the stress level and the health strain. As you can see, most of the pastors leveled it a 5. There are not many 3s in here. Most of them leveled it a 5. And then at health reasons, as it relates to what the experiment is, they rated it as a 5 as well. And so as we began to average those out, stress and health overweighed the other ones. Stress level being averaged at 44.1. 3.41, and health strain being 3.414. So it was kind of, yeah. But see, those were the averages, and so the other averages for strain of marriage was 3.50. Financial status was 2.75. The family relationships were 2.04. Stress level, as I said, was 3.41. Support in church was 3.7. Support in community was 2.7. And the last one, health strain, was 3.41. And so from this, we went forward in the experiment to present an inference test. And so it just says as you can see the configuration here, HO, and this stands for mu1, mu2, is equal to mu1 and mu2, which HA is greater than our mu2, which this A equals the confidence level, which is 99% confidence level that I believe that I'm very confident in my studies. And then I wrote out a simple conclusion to the experiment that says, because my p-value is higher than my alpha level, I will fail to reject. The health and stress are equally connected with the leave from the ministry. Therefore, I also do not have sufficient evidence to support that stress is the higher factor for leaving the ministry than health. Here's some of the graph data that was collected shortly after the experiment, which was given after the spreadsheet. And as you can see that most pastors this is the darker one is young pastors from the age of 20 to 35. The lighter blue is middle-aged pastors, which we consider 36 to 45. And then the kind of pastel blue is the elderly pastors, who we consider 46 to 80. And as you can see, it seems, it varies from age group to age group. But as far as the young pastors, it seems as though that marital strain is the highest one. Financially is the biggest hold on middle-aged pastors, and stress is kind of verbatim with each pastor, and elderly pastors suffer from health reasons. All right. And here's the final summary. After surveying and experimenting with this very interesting topic, I have come to the general understanding that the greatest factor of pastors' release of ministry is because of the toll of which it puts on one's health, which most likely brings about an early demise. If I were to conduct this survey again, I would construct a more specific questions, and even do observational studies of their medicational records over time. I would also survey more pastors who have left the ministry to make my data more accurate.
Great. All right, Cameron, so I just have a couple of questions.
Okay.
First of all, I noticed in your presentation you talked about HO and HA. What does that mean? Like, what is HO? What is HA?
Okay, HO is null hypothesis. Null hypothesis, and the HA represents the my hypothesis, or the actual hypothesis. the alternative hypothesis. Excuse me. My brain is kind of frying, but that's what that means.
Okay. And I thought it was really interesting at the end of your study, you were talking about, you actually took the time to section out your data, right? Like you looked at different categories of the ages. So you looked at elderly, younger, middle age. And I thought it was really interesting that they all three of them had different leading factors that caused their leave from the ministry. And what prompted you to look at the different age levels? Why did you think to do that?
I think it was important because it'll better categorize the stress levels, the health reasons, and you can better put a cap on that when you look at the age of a person.
Okay. I noticed that all 10 folks that you interviewed were married and they were male.
Yes.
Do you think that serving female pastors or serving people who are not married might produce different results?
I do believe it will.
All right. What do you think would happen with that data?
I believe it'd be skewed to the left. I'm just kidding. But I believe that it will be more broader. It'll bring a broader approach as well, because it's different just me speaking on ministry. It's different from male and female, and their responses will be different. So I will have kind of like maybe an unbiased, survey.
And all of the denominations were Baptist as well. Do you think there's?
Baptist.
Yeah. Do you think?
Southern Baptist.
Yeah. Do you think that there's a different? Do you think that if you look from denomination to denomination, we might also see different reasons why?
Definitely different reasons. Accountability, all of that other stuff. All of that will play in the different denominations because each one denotes, or do things a different way. And so, stress level may not be as big as it is on a Baptist person as there it is than a Catholic person, pastor. So it will, and definitely it will.
Okay. And you said that you collect all these pastors serve in different places globally, right? So they're in different countries, different states.
Yes, some of them are Alabama, but some of our very own. Some of them are in Memphis, Arkansas, Washington, and so on and so on. So we make sure that we collect the data from pastors that are not just in our city, but because it's different in every city as well.
Right.
So, but out and abroad.
So basically, you tried to avoid something like geographic location from being a confounding variable.
Indeed.
Interesting. Okay. And then when I looked at your null hypothesis and your alternative hypothesis, which one of those things was mu1 and which one was mu2? Was stress level mu2?
Stress level was
Okay.
mu2, and health was mu1.
Okay. And the only other thing is, when you're explaining your data, your averages at the very bottom of the row that was right above the standard deviation, those looked correct, but the ones at the very bottom didn't. I think you were reading off that very bottom one, which didn't have all the values in it. So just a heads up on that when you're doing your final paper. And then the last two questions are more just summative questions about the class. So what's one thing you learned about statistics this year that you feel like you could apply outside of the class?
I've learned that everything, even though we may not see it, has a statistic, and therefore we will not be able to operate without these things. Such as even like toothpaste, stuff like stuff is as little as that. But I believe that now we have been equipped to look at things not just a normal angle, but have a 3D angle at it and see why this happens. And then kind of have more reasoning than the average person.
Mm-hmm. And then finally, so if I do this project again next year with this class, what advice do you have for folks taking AP Statistics next year that are doing this project a year from now?
Study. Study your books. Stay close with your teacher. Spend time studying, going to tutoring, even if you know the content. Do extra work, even if you know the content. So, just be the all-star student that you need to be, and that your teacher wants you to be.
All right. Thank you.